What's up YouTube? I have another close and interesting UU match here against InertFury, also known as Rich, which I know all of you know him very well. Looking at his team, obviously the biggest threat for me is going to be his Hitmontop, which is easily going to be a defensive intimidate wall, so I'm going to have to watch out for that. I do have a Darmanitan, which is indeed choice banded, but that's about it that can hit him really hard. Also, his team is going to be quite interesting as well, as he has more than half of the same team I am running, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how each side runs their sets, their pokes, and all stuff like that. So we're going to straight on with the match here. We're both going to leave with our Darmanitans, and I know this is not going to be a good switch in for me whatsoever because I am going to be a choice banded set. And I thought the best player here was just to probably go into my Gligar, not predicting him to really over-predict so early in the game. So he ends up going into his Rotom, and I want to switch out here because he might be packing the HP Eyes. I don't know what really kind of Rotom this is going to be. I don't really see it much in UU these days. So he ends up going for the Pain Split, and it's really not going to be that threatening for me. I am able to go for foul plays, which is really the only thing I can go for anyways, and it's basically going to force him to switch out a turn later in the game. But first he's actually going to go for another substitute. I don't know, maybe he thought I would maybe go for the Toxic or something like that, but I'm not even running that on my Pokemon, so kind of curious as to why he decided to stay in and go for another sub, but it's really not going to make that much of a difference later on in the game, as you'll see here in a second. So I decided to go for the foul play, and I didn't really want to over predict or anything too early in the game. I'm going to have to go into my Kingdra now because I thought he either wanted to go for maybe just the rocks, Earthquake, or Toxic, and he indeed does go for Toxic, which is probably the best thing I could have gone into, or maybe even my own Gligar. So I decided to go for the Dragon Dance now because I kind of want to set up early in the game, and that's a terrible thing to do. Please don't do that because I am thinking that I want to get a mini sweep here early, and it's not going to work out well for me whatsoever. He's going to go for the Wish with his Umbreon, and I really thought that I was going to be able to knock out his Hitmontop with a +2 Outrage. But think again, he also has Intimidate, which is going to drop it down to +1. And if I was able to actually go for another Dragon Dance, I would have been able to knock him out with an Outrage. But then again, I would have not been able to recover up with rest because I would have been locked in Outrage anyway. So not a really good play on my part whatsoever. So I am able to bring him down to around 4/5 of HP, which is not too terrible, but like I said, I am not able to rest up, and I really want to keep Kingdra out for later because of Gligar and stuff like that. So I go into Darmanitan now, and I know this is probably going to be the best play for me whatsoever because I am able to go for a Flare Blitz, and I know this is going to hit anything really hard. And this is why I run Choice Band Flare Blitz, because it's pretty easy to bluff the Scarf since a lot of people run it these days, and also people are expecting to live these Flare Blitzes because these things are usually Choice Scarfed, so they're expecting to live them and then probably get some sort of recovery move on them. So that's why I like running Choice Band Flare Blitz, and it really works well on Darmanitan. So he brings in his Darmanitan now, and I want to just go into Gligar, not over predicting, and he ends up going into his Kingdra. And just because I'm running the Dragon Dance Resto Chesto set, I really thought he was not a mixed special attacker, since I really haven't even seen it a lot in a while. So that was a really bad play by me. I probably should have played that a little bit better and just gone into Umbreon just to play it safe, but I kind of wanted to keep Umbreon out for later too, so kind of a risky play there. So I do make a really nice play here. He should have just gone into Umbreon the first time and just taken the Dark Pulse, but I did predict him to go into his Rotom, which is going to be very nice for me. So I am going into my own Umbreon now as he goes into his, and I just wanted to get some damage on something, but I did think that maybe going into Porygon Z was probably going to be a better move too, just because he might want to go into his Hitmontop or something like that, and I would be able to go for the Tri-Attack, and that should be able to knock him out. But he actually gets a Wish back up, and I'm not going to be able to knock him out with a Tri-Attack, and I do want to keep this thing out for later, so I'm going to make the pretty obvious play into my my Mismagius, and he actually ends up going for the close combat, not wanting to over predict. So he goes into his Umbreon now, and I just decide to go for the sub because I don't really have any better play to go for, and I don't want to predict what he wants to go into next. I just want to get maybe a few nasty plots up or just go behind a sub so I can play it safe for now on. And he then up going for the foul play, which is easily going to break my sub, and knowing that I'm not going to be able to do much to his Umbreon whatsoever, so I'm going to switch out and go into my Porygon Z again because I want to get this thing, or really anything else except for maybe his Darmanitan, I guess, which is most likely Scarfed. Anything else just tricked with the Choice Scarf, because getting this thing tricked is going to play out so huge later on in the game, as you'll see in a little bit. So I decided to take the foul play, which is going to be a pretty good trade-off because I do get lefties now, and it's going to work out really nice for me because I'm just going to be able to go into my own Umbreon, and he's really not going to be able to do much to me whatsoever because of the foul play and all that, and he is locked into it now, so it's pretty nice. So as we both switch out at the same time, I knew he was going to switch out first because of this choice scarf, so I wanted to go into my Darmanitan, expecting him to either probably just go into Kingdra or something like that, but he actually ends up going into his own Darmanitan, and I really did think he wanted to go for the U-turn here, so that is going to work out really nicely for me because I am able to get up a free Flare Blitz. I'm not quite sure as to why he didn't just go into Kingdra. Maybe he did expect me to go for U-turn as well since he went for it, so didn't really make a lot of sense, and maybe he thought that he could take a Flare Blitz better. Maybe he thought that I wasn't running Choice Band at the time, but then again, I was doing a really big amount of damage to his Gligar, so don't really know. But I'm going to switch out now and go into my Umbreon because I know this is really the only thing that can take hits from this thing now, and I'm pretty sure this thing is going to be a Brain Dance set, which is going to be very, very annoying. I'm going to see if I can play around that later on in the game. So he brings in his Darmanitan. I am able to go for the Protect just to scout out what he wants to go for, and indeed he does go for the Flare Blitz, and I knew I was going to be able to take this if he is indeed a Choice Scarf variant, and that's going to work out very nicely for me. I am going to live up with about maybe, I don't know, maybe like a third left of HP, and that's going to work really great because I'm going to be able to go into my Darmanitan now. I kind of expected him to either just go for the Rain Dance or maybe just go for like the Hydro Pump or something like that just to get some damage on something, but he does end up going for the Rain Dance, which is probably going to be the best play for him whatsoever because he's going to outspeed my Darmanitan anyways. Maybe if I was Scarfed I would have been outspeed or not, I'm not sure. But he does end up making some good plays here because he knows exactly when I want to go for Protect because I am afraid of him going for the Hydro Pump and knocking me out. So I decided to go into Miss Magus now because I know I'm not going to be able to take a Hydro Pump very well whatsoever, and he's most likely going to outspeed anyways, so probably the best play I could have gone for right there. So I decided to go back into my Umbreon now and just go for another Protect, and he's going to go for another Dragon Pulse, and that really irritates me because 2 times I could have gone for the foul play and knocked him out, but really did not work out well for me whatsoever. So he brings in his Umbreon, and it's really annoying because I'm not going to be able to do much to this thing whatsoever, and it's going to force me to switch out into my own Porygon Z, but I probably should have stayed in with my Umbreon anyways, just forcing him to switch out and go for the foul play and then just keep Porygon Z later. So not the best play, but I guess it was the best play at the time. So I decided to go for the Tri-Attack, and I get hacks bitten back at me. Don't really see it that much these days. So he goes for the I go for the Tri-Attack, and I am going to paralyze him, which I did not want to happen because now I am going to get paralyzed, and that's not going to work out well for me whatsoever because I am going to be slower than his Kingdra, and he's going to be able to just easily destroy me with a couple Hydro Pumps and stuff like that. So I decided to keep on going for the Tri-Attack because I don't want to switch out and go back into Umbreon, predicting him to maybe just keep on setting back up, and I was pretty sure he wanted to go back into Kingdra anyways, but since I did not get the download boost, I am not going to be able to take out his Kingdra, and it is like mass chaos right now because I am not sure what to do. So I was thinking let's just try and go for the Tri-Attack, but of course I get paralyzed, so that's rather unfortunate. But he does end up missing his Hydro Pump the next turn, so I guess it kind of evens itself out, and I am able to go for the Tri-Attack now, and looking at the damage, it is going to take maybe 2 turns for him to die from Life Orb damage, and I'm not sure of that, but it looks like that right now. So after 1 turn, he is going to be at the red zone in his HP, so I decide to go into my Umbreon now, and he does miss the Hydro Pump, which is huge and basically just gives me the win because he's going to be locked in with his Choice Scarf on his Umbreon. It's really not going to do much to me whatsoever. It's going to easily be a PP war, and he's going to lose it. So he's going to decide to run because he knows he cannot really do much to me whatsoever. I guess he tries to get a couple of crits or something like that, but good game, Rich. So like I said, I did the calc for that, and it turned out to be is going to do between 202 and 238. I had 222 HP left, so if it was going to be an average, it was going to be in my favor. So like I said, who knows, it was going to be a close match. I probably should have gone for the Protect anyways just to get rid of Rain, but I wasn't really paying attention as to how many turns Rain had left. So like I said, a really good match against InertFury. I know all of you hopefully enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like rating and go check out my channel. I'll try and get some more battles here for you guys later on. I do enjoy getting some more UU battles. I like the tier. just really was struggling in it before, but I do like the team I am running right now, and it has run pretty well. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed the battle. I hope my narration was up to your standings and your likings, and yeah, so I will see you all later. Peace out.